I prefer to be called Marie.
I prefer to be called Elle.
I prefer to be called Jess.
My name is Janessa and I am from
New York.
Los Angeles, California.
Seattle, Washington.
Ventura, California. Hey you guys, it's your girl Jasmine Travels and I'm back with another video, and I want to welcome you all to part 3 of my Auxiliares de Conversación series. I've felt like I've talked you guys out. I've talked to you guys about how to become an aux. I've talked to you guys about what an aux is, and I felt like you guys have heard enough of my story, enough of my experience, enough of me. So I thought that this last video would be best as getting others' opinions about their experience here in Spain. So like I told you guys, and like you guys have seen in a couple other videos, I do have some aux friends out here in Spain. So I thought maybe it'd be really nice to ask them to give me a short little brief interpretation of their time here as an aux in Spain. We're going to see who all wants to do it. Of course, I'm not going to force anyone into doing this, but this is going to be an interview style video of those who want to share their experience here in Spain of being an aux. So I hope you guys enjoy this. You're not going to see me much in the video. It's mostly just going to be focused on everyone else giving you their stories, their experiences, answering some questions that I have set up to just talk about being an aux. So go ahead and show them some love in the comments below, and I personally want to say thank you in advance for them agreeing to do this really random little interview. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you after the interviews. How did you find out about the aux program?
I found out about the aux program through a friend that I met in Madrid when I was working as an au pair, and I told him I wanted to live in Spain, and he told me that he was doing this program as an auxiliar, and so after he explained to me what it was, I applied out of interest, and then I decided to go for it after I got my placement in Sevilla.
I found out about the aux program from a friend of mine. I always said I wanted to live in Spain when I graduated college. I just wanted to travel and live somewhere, especially a Spanish-speaking country. My friend told me about the Auxiliares program, and it's free, it's easy to apply to, and I could live in Spain for almost a year for a purpose. And so I was like, I'm ready.
It was about 2 years ago. I was just looking online. I was tired of working in property management at the time, and I just wanted to experience something similar to when I studied abroad. So I was on Google for like 7 months, and I finally came down to the decision to look further into the Auxiliar program, and then I decided to apply from there.
I found out about the aux program through my sister's old roommate. My sister had told me that she had a roommate in Spain living abroad teaching kids, and it sounded appealing to me, so I went for it.
How was the application and visa process for the aux program?
I would say the application process was extra difficult for no reason. I feel like we are in a modern day and age where we can create websites that are easy and user-friendly. Everything was in Spanish, and if you didn't do one thing correctly, you can't find your way out. If you are clicking on different things, it sends you to a whole nother different location, and so it just is so confusing. I had to have my mom, who speaks Spanish better than I, to help me with this application, and even she was confused. I was on Google trying to find help, and I even used their they have a list of instructions to help you with the application process, and I still was struggling. So that is something to just keep in mind. And then the visa process for me actually was a breeze, and it was during COVID, which is which is crazy to think about because my process was so smooth. I was able to get in contact with all the people I needed to in the state of Washington. All my doctors cooperated with me. And then when I actually submitted my visa, everyone was so nice to me, accommodated me, and then I was sent my visa within 2 weeks of me actually turning in my visa, which is not everyone's story, so I had a good experience with that.
The application process was pretty simple. The website that you apply to the program is pretty outdated, so you do have to open it on a different browser like Safari or Internet Explorer because it's just old. But other than that, it was really easy for me because I didn't have to apply for a visa because I have dual citizenship in Europe. So I'm a German citizen and an American citizen, so I did not need a visa. So the application process was pretty easy for me.
The application and visa process was a little bit different than people who have done it before COVID. So because of COVID, I think it complicated the entire process, but the application process online for the program, I'm not gonna lie, was very confusing. I personally would not have been able to navigate through the website if it weren't for my friend who was also in the program. And the visa process itself was a pain in the butt because everything was closed and I didn't know when things would reopen. The visa process took a while for all the paperwork to get through, and it's a little confusing with the steps that they have listed online. But I mean, if I can do it, then most people can do it. I could do that by myself.
The application was generally simple. There were a few things you had to get together, like your letter of intent and a letter of recommendation. The website, I'm sure others will say, was from the Stone Ages, and so navigating that thing on a regular computer was almost impossible. But so I had to pull out my old MacBook. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't. It is really an old website, and it's kind of confusing, but it was generally easy. But actually, the visa process was kind of hard. Getting all the documents for the visa process, I felt like, I don't even know, like getting all the medical release and then the background check, and make sure you do the state background check because it's faster, I learned. This was a thing I read. There's Facebook things, there's like forums all about this, but the FBI one's way longer and the state one comes back much faster. And not in during COVID, you can go to like your state secretary or secretary of state in California, for example, and go in person and get the background check, and then get the apostille as well in person. Whereas to get the background check for the federal and then to get the apostille for the federal takes months, like 2 months at least. Whereas the state background check can take like 2 weeks. So there's a lot of twists and turns in the visa process. It can be overwhelming, but at the end of the day, it's pretty easy getting it. And then when you come here, there's a whole nother process. So there's some paperwork and it can be slow, but you just have to have a good outlook.
Can you speak Spanish?
Yes, I do speak Spanish fluently.
I can speak Spanish, but I had lost a lot of my Spanish skills growing up.
Before coming here, I did study abroad in Costa Rica 4 years ago, so I knew my basics. Hola, ¿dónde está el baño? And just a few things to be able to get me through basic conversations.
Solo hablo un poco español, pero entiendo mucho. Okay, I can speak only a little bit of Spanish, but I understand quite a bit.
I do think speaking Spanish fluently has made things easier for me, especially in the south of Spain. It's kind of difficult to understand the people here because they have strong accents, so I think if I didn't speak Spanish, it would be hard.
It was Latin American Spanish, so if you come to Spain, the difference in the Spanish is it's wildly different. They use different words, and their pace is something else for sure. If you know Spanish even a little bit before you come to Spain, it's gonna help you quite a lot. I have friends who don't speak any Spanish, and I can tell that they're very confused, and I would not have the guts to do the program without prior knowledge of it, for sure.
Obviously, I think you may know we are in Seville, which is a different type of Spanish. I feel so the Spanish that I thought that I had was not sufficient enough for Seville. So I would say no, I don't know Spanish, but I picked up really quickly. My Spanish has substantially improved. I am very resilient, or I'm very resourceful, so no matter where I go, I can pretty much figure out my way around, even if I don't know the language. So I don't think it would say it hindered me, but I would say that it has made it difficult in certain situations, especially when I first got here, like trying to find a grocery store to find the things that I need. Or I have a lot of allergies to a lot of different things, and so going to a store or to a restaurant and having to ask people what's in the food that I'm eating, or trying to read ingredients when you're in the grocery store and everything's in Spanish, I think that did make things difficult for me. But of course, there's technology. I was able to get by, and I'm here now. No allergy attacks or anything. So that's definitely a lie. So you don't have to keep that in there.
Realistically, to be in this program, you don't need to speak Spanish. It's not a requirement. And when you're in the schools, you're there to speak English. But it helps to speak Spanish coming to a Spanish-speaking country. It is a hindrance, but it's like an obstacle to overcome. It can be hard, but it's a learning experience. You have the privilege to be able to learn more Spanish and be immersed in a culture where people are always speaking Spanish, so it's easier to catch on. Not knowing Spanish can be a hindrance navigating life here, but it's not completely bad because you can still learn, and you do learn a lot. But knowing as much Spanish as you can, is beneficial, for sure.
How do you like the AUX program thus far?
The AUX program for me has been pretty smooth. I got placed in a school that is 30 minutes from me on the bus, and all of the teachers have been very professional and have followed the rules and the guidelines for the Auxiliar program. My coordinator has been very by the book and has helped me with any questions I had about getting my TIE, or any questions that I just had in general about my insurance, or even with me being homesick. They have been very accommodating to me, been very supportive, and I feel like it's made my experience through this program so much easier.
I enjoy the AUX program. I like it a lot. I got really lucky in my placement, that things have worked out well for me. And I like it. I wish we were paid more, but whatever. Don't we all wish that all the time? I think having someone that's a native English speaker when you're trying to learn things in English is super beneficial.
So far, I do like the AUX program. There are some things that can be improved, but I do think the pros outweigh the cons for sure.
Honestly, I really enjoy the AUX program. Things operate differently in Spain in terms of paperwork and, you know, official documents that you have to go through and hoops that you have to jump through. Overall, you know, you are in a different country and you have to acclimate yourself to how the flow of that country works. And if you are able to do that and just, you know, find yourself to relax through the entire process, then you should be okay. And I think it was the best decision for me instead of jumping straight into grad school, because it gave me time to breathe from the rat race in the United States. And I think overall it helps you kind of realign what's important to you, so I highly recommend it.
What is it like to teach the children here in Spain?
So teaching children in Spain is definitely a different experience than I thought it was going to be in a positive way. I find that for the most part the students are respectful and they aren't too wild or misbehaved. And I find that they're interested in getting to know someone that's from the United States. So I do like the students that I have.
My experiences differ every once in a while just because I am in a school that goes from first grade all the way to 6th, and I don't like hop back and forth between the months. I am with one grade for a certain amount of weeks and then I shift to another grade. Teaching 6th graders is completely different from teaching 1st graders, but altogether it's been a great experience. I love the students. They're so willing to learn, especially the younger that they are, and it makes it even better because they want to teach me Spanish, and I feel like once I allow myself to try to say Spanish words to them, the easier it is for me to teach them English because there's a level of trust between us. And I also found a new passion of mine, which is educating. I love the kids. I love my students. I think about them when I go home. I'm excited to see them every single day. I do more with them than just in class. I hang out with them at their recess and lunchtime. It's a good time.
Teaching the kids is great. I had no prior experience with children at all before I came to Spain, and that was one of my biggest worries was, you know, kids are terrifying, they're brutally honest, but overall, once you have enough time with them, you realize how cute and so sweet they are, and they're really just little people. So it's probably the best part about, you know, being able to be in Spain is the fact that I have such sweet kids.
The children here are nice. They're all so nice. And us as auxiliares are not teachers, so we don't have to teach them at all. We just have to like reinforce English practices or like pronunciation, or we assist in learning for sure. I like being the assistant because the kids are so excited when you're in class with them. They are so happy to see you. They think it's so cool, like where I come from, and they want to learn about where I live in California, and then they also want to get to know me more, being someone not from Spain and being an English speaker. They're happy to have someone to speak with them. I think it's really fun. You feel like a little celebrity in your school, for sure. Like, ask any auxiliar, unless their kids, the students hate them, but I think most auxiliares probably feel like mini celebrities in their schools because all the students are always like, "Hi Elle, hello." They always want to try things. "Good morning," and it's like, it's fun. It's so cute. It gives me such an appreciation for my own language that other people want to learn, and I'm happy that I could be a tool for them.
Do you feel like being in this program has opened doors for you?
Yes and no. So, for example, no, because it's a little bit hard to relate what I have here in Spain back with, you know, my life in the United States. However, doors within Spain have been opened. So, for example, meeting new people from all over the place, not just Spaniards, but, you know, people from throughout Europe. Being able to understand other perspectives in life and kind of being able to apply that to your daily life as well. And then also, when people find out that you speak English, you will most likely have an opportunity to do tutoring on the side or something like that. So overall, I don't have any issues with finding work.
I think it has, in terms of I kind of know which career path I want to go in now. So coming here and actually being in a classroom and being a teacher's assistant, and you're seeing all of these things, and for me it makes me want to learn more. Okay, well now I want to learn how to do this, or I want to know how to teach this better. I want to learn how to make them more engaged, and for me it just showed me that I know what I want to do in my life and with my career.
It's hard to say because I'm still in the program, but mentally I think yes, it's giving me the confidence of independence. Like, I feel comfortable moving somewhere, leaving, you know, everything I know. Moving to a different country is an eye-opening experience. I think this program has set me up for doing things later in life. Like, having the opportunity to work in schools is not something that's super easy to do. So having experience in schools now, I think will definitely open doors in America as well as abroad.
I do believe that being in this program has the potential to open doors for me. I do think it has opened the possibility of me being a teacher as my career, because I did not study to be a teacher. I studied communications. So I think this has opened a door to knowing more what my career will be.
What was the hardest part about moving to Spain?
Leaving my family at home. Oh my goodness, my siblings and my nieces and nephews and my parents, when I was like the day before my flight, I literally was like, I can't believe I'm doing this. I can't believe I'm not gonna see my family for almost a year. Like, and then also packing. Oh my gosh. Packing to move to a different country. Don't start the night before.
Really, like the fear of not meeting people while I was here, or just the anxiety of convincing myself that it was a good idea to leave behind all my friends and family in New York and come to a city that I've never been to where I don't know anybody. So that was the hardest part, was the psychological component of just leaving behind everything and starting new.
This is the farthest I've been away from my family. I have a very small, close-knit family, and no one has really ever left. And if they did, it may have just been in the state. No one has ever branched out. So this is the first time that, I did study abroad in Costa Rica, but that was only a 1 hour difference from my family as far as like being able to call them, talk to them, be in communication. And here I am 9 hours ahead, and so I have to wait till the way late hours of the night to talk to my mom. So that has been really difficult for me because I am a family person, and homesick is a real thing here. You know, you experience it. And then also my sister's pregnant, so that's been hard not being with her during this time of her life.
Definitely getting used to the flow of life here. And not just including the siesta, but just in general how people live life a lot slower here, at least in Seville. And it's more about just, working to make money and then spend the time that you have free with your friends and relaxing and just enjoying it. And I wasn't really that used to it at first. And then also the hardest part would be dealing with the paperwork and the government, definitely.
Besides friends or family, what do you miss the most from home?
Being able to walk in a restaurant at any time of the day and get a breakfast plate.
I miss food.
The food.
Like American food.
Big breakfasts here in Spain are not a thing, and I really miss eating like IHOP breakfast or like eggs, scrambled eggs, bacon, sausage, and pancakes. You can't really find that here. So I do miss big breakfasts for sure.
I miss seasonings. I miss hot Cheetos the most, and I enjoy eating very spicy food in Spain. Spiciness is just not a thing. Don't get me wrong, their food is good, but I just love American food. Drive-thrus, I miss driving. I also miss my city, Seattle. I miss mountains, so I do miss my hometown for sure.
My pets. If you have pets like me, it's gonna be hard for you to be far away from them, but you're in Spain, so that there's always a trade-off. And the food. America, I never realized how many different kinds of foods we have available to us, especially being in LA. There's a ton of, everything, but here, the food isn't that spicy. So if you like spice, good luck. You gotta look really hard to find it, but maybe you can find it. I haven't.
I say this all the time. I miss the convenience of having a car, and I miss just being able to get in my car and drive, just go for a drive. It's cool living in a city that's so connected and accessible that I could walk everywhere and use public transportation. But I miss, especially in the time of COVID, I miss having like a little sanctuary of my car. I also miss drive-thrus. I don't want to say hot Cheetos, but like hot Cheetos. Like, obviously. I miss them.
How do you think COVID impacted your experience in the program?
It's definitely a difficult year to come to Spain.
In all honesty, I think COVID has definitely made the experience something else than if it wasn't COVID times. COVID affects every facet of this experience.
COVID impacted my visa process severely. I was supposed to join the program or join the school officially on October 1st, but because of delays from the visa process, I ended up coming in at October 17th.
The worst part of COVID is that we can't travel anywhere. Like, you can, but you risk getting COVID. So it's like, why are you gonna go on a plane? Because you work 12 hours a week, kind of. You have like 3-day weekends every weekend. So you could travel. But right now during COVID, you can't really travel.
If you can't leave Andalusia, or right now you're not able to leave Seville, so that's really difficult, being able to explore Europe while you're in Europe and you have the capacity to go all over Europe and you can't because of COVID.
Because, you know, the travel is basically non-existent, but hopefully by June, the restrictions will let up and I'll be able to travel throughout Europe.
Also, COVID has impacted, I think, Seville's regular life here.
Whether it's like being able to go out or just to do things after 6 p.m.
I heard so many great things about Seville's life as far as like partying, or as far as like walking around, going to see churches or cathedrals.
Another reason that COVID kind of sucks, in particular to like the school environment, is that everyone has to wear masks. And that can be really like a huge hindrance to the students when they can't see my mouth moving. Like, they don't know how I'm forming the words, they just can hear it.
Teaching students English and not being able to show them the way that you're forming your mouth, it makes it harder for them to be able to pronounce words in English how it's supposed to be said. I feel like I am such a visual learner, and when I'm speaking with someone and I'm trying to learn pronunciation, I like to be able to look at someone's mouth, and you can't do that because it's COVID. You know, you need to wear a mascarilla.
You have to be really creative about what activities you can do with the students, because there are restrictions and measures that prohibit you from doing what you would normally do as an aux. But I do think it has been a good experience to just be creative, whether it's working or meeting other people. I've been more creative in thinking of ways of how to get to know other people. So yeah, it's been restrictive, but I think if you stay positive, it can be a good experience.
Also, it sucks for me because I can't see their faces. I feel like I'm missing a part of them. I know masks are so important. I wear my mask constantly, which I love about Spain, is that everyone wears masks all the time. And in school, we always wear masks, but at the same time, I wish we didn't have to, because the learning environment would be better.
I can imagine that without COVID, this would be 10 times more amazing than it already is.
Would you reapply to be in the aux program again in the future?
I think after this time I will not be reapplying, but that's only because spending time in Spain made me realize that I wanted more of a challenge for a career, and this was more of a breather for me right after university. And I feel like I've gotten that. And so I'm kind of itching to, after this is all over, go back home and then start a career in something that is engaging and challenging, because I love the kids, but it's not the career for me. So no for me, but I hear a ton of people love it and they continue to reapply for it, so.
Yeah, I am going to reapply. I haven't yet, but I'm going to reapply. I want to stay. I want to experience this program not in the height of COVID, like more in like the aftermath of COVID would be fine. I also am renewing because I love my school. Everyone at my school is so nice. They treat me so well. My coordinator is cool. Everyone, all my teachers are cool. They speak English. The kids are so funny. Like I said, I'm a local celebrity at the school. So like, how could I give up my fame?
I have already sent in my application to renew as an auxiliar. My plan is to stay here for a second year and renew at my same school, because my experience has been so great with them that I don't want to mess up the situation that I have right now.
I did reapply to be an auxiliar in Sevilla again, just because I see the potential the program has, and all in all, I do like the program and I do like working with students. So I did reapply because I think hopefully with the vaccine that's coming out, things will go back to normal, and I think doing this program while things are normal is just going to be spectacular.
I hope this opened your eyes to the world of being an aux in Spain. I hope that it encouraged you, if you thought about doing it, to actually go for it. I give you guys as many details as I possibly can, but like I said, I'm not perfect. I might have forgot some things. So if you feel like you have any other questions, go ahead and drop them in the comment section below. Or even if you want to be more private, you can DM me on Instagram. My Instagram is in the description box. Feel free to reach out. I want to encourage everyone to travel, to live in different countries, to see the world. So if you have any questions at all, feel free. And I hope you guys enjoyed this series. It was very different for me, but I really had a lot of fun planning this out and putting it together. So thank you guys for joining in, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.
A good tip. Don't start packing the night before if you're moving to another country, because I'll tell you one thing, you're gonna forget some stuff, even if you have a list, which I didn't. So next time I pack up, I know to start at least like 4 days before instead of 1.
It's funny because I did that. Yeah. When I moved to England, I was like, let's pack the night before. Pulled an all-nighter, packed my bag, slept for like 2 hours, and went to the airport.
Literally.
Like an idiot.
And then this is the worst part about packing the night before. You get there and you're like, what did I bring? I had 2 tank tops, a pair of shorts, and 3 pairs of unmatched socks. Like, what did I do? I didn't even bring
bag be heavy as fuck though.
Yeah,
the bag be so heavy though.
Somehow the bag's always overweight though. Like, from what? I literally don't even know what I put in there. But
live and learn. You live and you learn.
You live and you learn. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's all the questions.
Yay! I hope you apply. Maybe if you want to.